これはデモです。カルトポップキャスト D 映画フランチャイズのフォートナイツ祝いこそ。
That's right. Welcome to film franchise Fortnights on the Cult Popture podcast. Any of our bilingual speakers that speak Japanese, can you just verify that actually said what it was meant to? Or if you're single lingual and you only speak Japanese and that's the only part of the podcast you understood, then this part is irrelevant.
I just want to explain and clarify there that when Richard said to all our bilingual speakers, he didn't mean the slaves that we own from foreign countries. He meant listeners that listen to the podcast and enjoy our content, not people we're keeping against our will.
I don't know why you think you would have to clarify that.
Because you never know. You know.
You're right.
You never know.
You don't.
You know what else you never know?
What?
When the hell this series is going to end.
Except we do know now. Alright, anyway.
So what are we doing here? Who am I? Who are you?
You're like AJ or some shit.
And you're this Richard guy.
We've been this month on the Cult Popture podcast. It's Godzilla month.
And that was exciting.
There was. I remember how I was excited.
So usually every fortnight on this podcast, this is your first episode for some reason. I'd be willing to bet no one is listening to this as their first episode, but if it is, welcome. What we usually do here on the Cult Popture podcast is every fortnight we'll watch a different film franchise, so we've covered a lot of them. We've covered Lethal Weapon, we've covered Ghostbusters, we've even covered the coveted
Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
And we got Godzilla because we randomly select these franchises it was a few weeks ago now because we had to put it off. And because Godzilla is a 31 film franchise and there are only 14 days in a fortnight, we decided to split it up because the Godzilla series itself is split up into 3 series and then some stragglers on the end, making it a total of 4 separate parts to the Godzilla mythos, and this is the 3rd part, the Millennium series.
Yes, so named after Japan's Emperor Millennium. That's not true. It's named because of the new Millennium, which we're currently still in.
Right. So Godzilla, if you don't know, is about a giant dinosaur that attacks Japan, and because I know he has a large fan base, and a lot of people listening to this podcast, I know for a fact, who have really want us to get all our facts straight. Yes, we know that Godzilla 98 is not in the Millennium series.
Okay, yeah. So we're getting ahead of ourselves.
I'm sorry, Richard.
So we watched the Millennium series, which consists of 6 films. However, we added on Godzilla 1998, the American film. Why? We'll get to that.
We also watched that first. I don't know if we...
Yeah, we watched that first. So we kind of like to watch the films in release order. So Freddy vs. Jason, when we watched that...
We watched 6.
There was 4... There was 4 Friday the 13th before we watched A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Because we were thinking, should we alternate one another? But it's we want to have the same experience people did when they watched them, you know? So we wanted to be disappointed by 1998 and then see the return, you know, if that's what people thought of them. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
You know, we want to have the same experience, and I feel like it's cheapened if you just do...
Yeah.
Do it some other way.
So there have been... we've previously covered the 15-film Showa series of Godzilla, which aired from the 50s to the 80s? 70s?
Late 70s.
The late 70s. Then we watched the Heisei period, which came out the...
Mid-80s to mid-90s.
Mid-80s to mid-90s, and now we're on the Millennium.
Which started in 1999, went to 2004. So... Should we just crack into the films?
How many films did we watch? This
7 films.
Okay. Yeah, let's crack in. Let's cover half this episode's content already by listing the films.
All right. Okay, so normally what we do now, we've added through the Godzilla thing, is that I say the title, director, and the monsters featured.
Yeah.
And then you would give the plot, and we could discuss a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the Millennium series is so weird, once we get to the back to the Japanese one, I'm gonna quickly explain the timeline of that film.
I wish you told me that before I spent all this time writing down synopses, but...
Well, no, like, because there's the synopses which you can give, but then I'll just clarify when the film takes place. Because
you'll do that
it's
before I say the synopses or after? I think you should do it before.
Yeah, before, okay.
Yeah, okay.
I just have to find where I wrote all the synopses. Anyway, the timelines, I mean. Okay, anyway, first film we watched was... whoops. Kicked part of the table. Was Godzilla from 1998, directed by Roland Emmerich, and that features the monster Zilla. And I'll explain that a little bit more later on. Godzilla, Zilla, same thing.
And it's in its own...
It's a complete own continuity.
Yeah.
Or is it?
Or is it true? So a giant lizard shows up in New York and causes a bunch of havoc while it lays its eggs, which hatch into a bunch of baby Godzillas. And Matthew Broderick and Hank Azaria and a bunch of others go to stop them. Who's the French guy? What's his name?
Jean Reno.
Jean Reno's in it as well. Who else famous was in that movie? Harry
Shearer, Nancy Cartwright.
Yeah, it had like 3 Simpsons voice actors for no apparent reason.
I read an AMA with Hank Azaria the other day, and he said that they got the role because Dean Devlin, who was the producer, was a massive fan of The Simpsons and was like friends with them. But he then went on to say that if he kept on publicly disparaging the film like he's been doing, he's probably not going to be friends with them very much longer.
Wow.
Yeah, because they're like all the stars of the film talk about how much they hate it.
Wow.
I was going to mention haven't even bloody. How can we talk about Godzilla without cracking up a couple of Rudy beers?
My second root beer in 20 minutes. I don't even like it.
And we're gonna. These are the last of the root beers that AJ just has in his room for some reason.
What are we going to do next week?
So next week we're going to have to actually go to the shop and get some.
They'll be... Man, okay. What a commit... My life is being changed by the Godzilla series, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so after that... because there's so much to say about the 98 one, we won't get into it too much now. So I think we'll sort of split the episode up a little bit. Mm-hmm. So once we finish this, we'll talk about the Godzilla one in depth. So,
is Godzilla 98 the first film in the series to just be called Godzilla?
Technically.
The first one's Gojira.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, what's the next one?
Yeah, or should we be talking about... Should we just get all the 98 talk out of the way now?
No.
No, okay, so... Because they'll cross over and stuff. Okay, so anyway, next came Godzilla 2000 Millennium, which came out in 1999. The only film in the Millennium series that didn't come out in the new Millennium, or come out in the 2000s anyway. That was directed by Takao Okawara, who directed some of the show Heisei series, you might remember. And that features the monsters Augur and Millennium. And now here's where it gets interesting. So, Godzilla 2000 is a direct sequel to 1954's Gojira, and it features a second Godzilla. So that's the continuity of that film.
So Godzilla, the second Godzilla, the new Godzilla, blasts his way into Japan again, where he fights a mysterious UFO, which during their final battle absorbs Godzilla's DNA and turns into a big monster, which Godzilla defeats, and then just continues destroying Japan. You don't see him leave; you just see him walk over and blow up a bunch of buildings, and that's where it ends.
So next was Godzilla versus Megaguirus.
I always say one too many G's than what they're actually are.
Megaguirus.
Yeah, I keep saying Megaguirus.
Oh yeah, Megaguirus.
Gurius?
Megaguirus. I'm gonna say Gyrus. Directed by Masaki Tezuka, and that features Megalodon, Meganula, and Megagyrus. And so, getting weird with the continuity again. This one ignores the Godzilla 2000, and it's a sequel to the original, but it ignores the oxygen destroyer from the end of the first one, so it treats it as if the Godzilla 1954 ended with Godzilla swimming out to sea.
That's weird. I didn't pick up on that watching it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, because of Godzilla, a nuclear power has been banned in Japan in an attempt to rid the city of Godzilla. It doesn't work. And Godzilla soon turns up, and he fights a bunch of locusts, a bunch of giant locusts.
Yeah, it's interesting the whole thing of the banning nuclear energy because that's what Godzilla thrives on. That's not really what the film's about.
Yeah, it was a real cool idea. I was like, okay, they're getting real, like, they've got to the point now where they're like, how can we play with this universe were it in a real world?
Oh, yeah.
And then they did nothing with it. Okay.
So the next one was called Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack. It came in 2001. So this is
not a title.
Huh?
It's not a title.
It's commonly referred to as GMK.
Okay.
So yeah, we can just call it GMK from now on. Directed by Shisuke Kaneko. Features Baragon, Mothra in both larva and adult forms, and King Ghidorah. And so, again, this is a weird continuity. This one ignores the others, but it's a sequel to 1954. However, it does reference the 1998 film, where they mention... Near the beginning, they mentioned that a giant lizard monster attacked New York. They're like, was it Godzilla? And they're like, the Americans think so, but we don't think so.
That's what that was referring to.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Japan were like, no, you can't have it anymore.
Yeah. The Japanese don't think it was Godzilla.
A big red monster named Baragon shows up and is soon destroyed by Godzilla after he's been running amok in the
Roll
city.
credits.
Mothra, who is a guardian monster, shows up to put an end to Godzilla's reign. Ghidorah turns up too, and after Mothra is killed in battle, her spirit merges with Ghidorah's spirit or body and become this new bigger monster, and that fights Godzilla, and they all die, and it takes 35 minutes for them all to get killed.
Yep. And that's the one that ends with Godzilla's heart beating at the bottom of the ocean.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the final shot of the film is they're all dead, but then you see Godzilla's heart at the bottom of the ocean, and then it starts to beat again.
Yeah. Which so what?
Teasing what?
What's a beating heart gonna do?
Yeah,
what are you gonna do? Beat me to death?
You haven't established that Godzilla can regrow.
He's not Jason. He's not Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
His heart does nothing.
Yeah.
His heart does nothing.
So next was I think we should just... This is a good time to acknowledge the elephant in the room. We're real over these films.
I've become so numb.
Too soon, dude.
That
makes me crawling in my skin.
I cannot. I do not. I don't even want to watch the last two. That's how over Godzilla
We're just
I am.
breaking the habit when no.
In the end, it doesn't even matter because only 50 people listen to this podcast weekly. But you know what? We appreciate you, and we'll get to you later on in the episode. We're going to do a little feedback session again.
Yeah.
Which if you keep giving us feedback, be a common part of the podcast.
Yeah, and then you can be hear your comment on the podcast and be like, "That's what I've done."
This is us tributing. We're not making fun. I want to point that out.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this in a year, Chester Bennington died last week.
Don't laugh at that.
That's where we are in the timeline of real world. And so...
Yeah, we need to start just referencing real world events so people know when to place these podcasts.
Yeah, definitely. That's what a podcast needs to be, is dated.
Time-stamped.
All right, what's the next film, dude?
Next film is Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. It came out in 2002, directed by Masaki Tezuka, and features Mechagodzilla, but in these films he's called Kiryu, or Kiryu.
Which is weird, because why call him Mechagodzilla in the title then, if you want to...
Yeah, exactly.
Give him a new title.
And so, Godzilla against Mechagodzilla in the next film, which we'll get to, share continuity. They're sometimes referred to as the Kiryu saga. So... In this continuity, Godzilla died in 1954 in the original film. None of the other ones happened. His skeleton survived, and you'll get to that. But this one also weirdly features references to 1961's Mothra.
Yeah.
Featuring the character Chujo, who appeared in both films. And also references another Toho film called Space Amoebas with a kaiju corpse on the beach.
So Mechagodzilla is built using the skeletal remains of the original 1954 Godzilla and sent to fight the new Godzilla. That's all I wrote for that one.
Yeah.
I feel like that sums it up pretty well.
Yeah, so it's not too much going on there. Oh boy.
Root beer break.
Root beer break. I mean, we've got to what's it called? Like, time.
Have sex with each other.
We've got to
Is that what you're gonna
drip
say?
feed the content of the of this podcast because like we don't want to
Have sex with each other.
We don't want to bleed it out.
Well, we were aiming for two different endings there with that joke.
You're still just going for it.
No, I wasn't at all, but I guess so. You can take that one. All right. None of these are Linkin Park titles. I'm just talking now. And they all sound like... Whenever I speak, it sounds like Linkin Park lyrics.
It's like you just like... You talk and then you just leave out all the rest. That isn't Linkin Park songs.
You're on fire, man.
Dude, this was like...
I was ready for this, AJ. I knew you were going to do this.
I subtly made you start the game. This was like I used to just do this at lunchtime at high school. Just like start talking in like band names or like song titles, but like of a specific artist.
Right.
Now I'm like trying real hard to think of more Linkin Park songs.
I don't know any more Linkin Park songs. I've said all of them. There's like a great divide between the Linkin Park songs I've mentioned and all the other ones that I know.
Yeah.
I'm just going to turn my...
You could say a new divide even.
I'm going to turn my internet off on my phone because I'm just being called in a group chat. Should I answer it? That's a bad idea.
Yeah, that is a bad idea. Well, I've seen your group chats, AJ. They're not family friendly.
They're all like, "Hey, can I come pick up the PlayStation now?" Because I have group chats with Facebook Market. Why would they be group chats?
You like all the people that are like coming to buy your PlayStation, and you like just add them all to the same group. It's like whoever gets his first.
Yeah, right. Go.
So the next film was called Godzilla Tokyo SOS, came in 2003, also directed by Masaki Tezuka. Features Mechagodzilla, again, as Kiryu, Mothra in both larva and adult forms, and Kamebus.
Yeah. Sorry. Turning off data apparently doesn't turn off getting called on group chat. Okay, so this is a sequel to the last film, right?
Yes.
And the tiny women are back from the Mothra mythos.
Yes.
They're little fairies. And they turn up to reveal to the humans that using Mechagodzilla to fight Godzilla is actually pissing off Mothra, because Mothra is the one who is destined to beat Godzilla, and they don't like that they've used a dead body to, they're like, once something's dead, it should stay dead. Eventually, the larvae Mothra babies,
they're back.
They're back, and they silk the shit out of Godzilla again. And then Mechagodzilla carries an incapacitated Godzilla to both of their deaths.
Yeah. That's heavy.
I have nothing to say.
Yeah.
I have nothing to say about this one. Is Heavy a Linkin Park song?
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was just looking at Linkin Park songs to try and get ideas.
No,
for
just stop
later
it.
in the podcast.
We need to move on.
Okay, fine. Jeez, you just make me want to. I'm just waiting for the end of this game. That was went over your head. Okay. So okay,
I'm going to let you choose when you want to talk.
Just let me have my moment. I'm just laughing at my own jokes. Okay, so the final film in the Millennium series, we just finished watching it. I'm sure you remember it. You'll all remember it because you're all watching along at home. Otherwise, you're not a real fan.
Oh, man.
Yes? Mm-hmm. You needed a root beer.
What? I said, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're totally watching along at home.
All right, I thought you were like, oh, man, I need a root beer break. So this one was directed by Ryuhei Kitamura and features Gigan, or Gigan, I can't remember what pronunciation we decided on, Monster X / Kaiser Ghidorah, Manila, he's back, King Caesar,
Manila is son of Godzilla, for those who
who just joining us. Rodan Anguirus, making his first appearance in 30 years. Mothra in adult form. No larvae. Manda, Kamacuras, Hedorah, Ibira, Kumonga, and Zilla. So that's, when I say Zilla, I'm referring to the 1998 design of the character from the American film. Just before we get to the synopsis and stuff. So Toho got the rights to that design of him, called him Zilla because the Americans took the god out of Godzilla and put him in this film, and he gets beaten by Godzilla in about 30 seconds, probably less than that, to Sum 41's We're All to Blame. So this film...
He was certainly, I guess you could say Zilla was in too deep when he went up against Godzilla.
Oh, we're doing this now?
No, I don't know any other Sum 41 songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
anyway, so this is a completely separate continuity.
Really?
Godzilla did attack in 1954, but it's not the same attack from the first film. So...
Okay.
They reference Godzilla attacking in 1954, but it's a different continuity from the actual film.
A film we haven't seen.
Yeah. And it takes place in 20XDX. Okay.
So aliens have got kaiju attacking cities all over the world. That's why we're getting all our old friends back. It's it's a big old. It's like a party video game.
Yeah,
but it's not a video game, and it's not fun. It's not a party. Godzilla,
it's not a video.
Godzilla defeats them all, and then humans who appeared with a bunch of mutant humans defeat the aliens. So there's mutants.
That's right. There's mutants now.
All right, that's all I've got to say.
Yeah, dude.
Putting my phone away.
That was pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, nice. So with finishing that, we are one step closer to the end of this podcast.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Tell me them.
Has an interesting. It's a real interesting bunch. So number one, the only positively, the only fresh being above 60%, the only fresh rated film is Godzilla Tokyo SOS with 100% from one review.
Okay. How has only one person reviewed that? Could we review it? Or what is?
You need to be registered, the critics. That's the critic score. It's what did I say? Tokyo SOS has 72% audience score. So yeah, whatever. Next is Godzilla 2000 Millennium with 56%. GMK 50%. Godzilla Final Wars 40%. Godzilla 1998 is 16%. Godzilla Against Mechagodzilla 0% with one review, and Godzilla vs. Megaguirus has no reviews.
I don't think this is a fair scale of how people
one
rank
person
these
liked the
movies.
film. Cool, it's perfect.
Because I bet that's not the same person who voted Tokyo SOS as 100%.
Yeah.
What was your favourite one out of the ones we watched?
I probably paid more attention to Final Wars than I have any other film in the franchise because my phone was on charge in the other room. And boy, these movies take on a whole new meaning when you look at them.
Don't say that. It makes it sound like we don't actually watch them.
We do watch the films, but we're millennials.
It is harder to when we're watching a franchise that's in English. Sometimes we'll be on our phones where we listen to it, and we're not on our phones for the whole time, obviously. And we'll we research.
I'm often researching.
Yeah, we're researching them, so we know we become qualified to talk about them.
Yeah,
and we do watch them. I'm not saying we don't watch them, but it is harder when they're in another language. So if you can't go on your phone because then you're missing subtitles.
Yeah,
which by the way. In Final Wars, there's a character who I think is supposed to be Russian. There's a main character who's a Russian soldier, and they don't subtitle him, but he speaks in Japanese. And this might just be on the Kiss Asian website.
That's the site we use, yeah.
That's
the site we use.
The site we use. The site we used didn't... Why didn't they decide to sub him? Because he's speaking Japanese. He's not speaking English.
Because I was thinking, if he speaks English in the normal, say the theatrical release in Japan, so his ones will be subtitled and nothing else would. And then it's like flipped for that, but then he's speaking Japanese. Yeah, I didn't get it.
It's
But
not like-
thankfully, every time he speaks, a character goes, "So you're telling me we're doing."
And also, it's not like he's going to talk to them if he can't speak the same language as all the other
Yeah,
characters.
exactly, yeah, that was
you know,
what they were-
and like the answer you think without really even thinking about it, the conclusion you draw is like, oh, he's speaking Russian, and maybe like the people who dubbed this just assumed because Russia is like a white faced nation that all white faces understand, but he's speaking Japanese still. Like, they dub him in Japanese, so it's just the same as all the other characters.
Yeah. What was your favorite?
I think it might have been. Wow, I'm going to look at the list again because I remember how I felt watching.
Because Final Wars was like it's the longest one as well at 2 hours. Well, second only to the 1998 one, but it's just like a 2 hour music video. It's ridiculous. The whole thing's insane.
I liked Giant Monster All Out Attack, but not that much.
Yeah, it's probably it's considered one of the best.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Look, I'm just okay.
I love agreeing with people.
Listen, David, I know you're listening to this one. Our commenter David will get to you in a second. I know you like these movies, and I'm not saying they're bad. I'm saying you're not supposed to watch these movies every night consecutively for
Sometimes
for
two a
month. Sometimes two a night. That's the problem we've got here, is that we've ingested like all this like pop culture from like another country, which is even crazier and even harder to kind of like ingest, and we our bodies weren't ready for it.
Yeah, dude.
We're drunk on Godzilla
And root beer.
Vodkazilla. This might continue the franchise. It's a new vodka brand called Vodzilla. All right, what do you want?
All right, should we discuss the? should we discuss the 1998 film for a bit?
Okay,
So,
we're moving out of the Millennium series momentarily
taking you back in time.
because Godzilla 1998 is not in the Millennium series. And Richard, if you dare
We're still going to get
make
comments about
any
it.
correlation between the two,
Like, they couldn't be more different. They're like Godzilla and Gamera. They're just like, they've got nothing in common. Anyway, so after... So after a few failed attempts to create a proper American adaptation, one was going to come out in 1994, and there was actually a teaser trailer released for it in Japan. The 1998 film finally came out to poor reception. So it's sometimes referred to as fans as Gino, which stands for Godzilla in name only. There's also Cena, which is Catwoman in name only. Yeah, fans, they get gold and they run with it. So yeah, as I said, they actually got the rights to their design of the monster, calling it Zilla.
Catwoman has nothing to do with Godzilla. Sorry. The cogs were turning in my brain there, and I was a bit late, but continue.
Yeah, this is what these films do to you.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, that then often when we say, like, this is what these films do to you, it's talking about, like, Beethoven. Like, I can't put Godzilla has nothing to do with Beethoven. I can't put them on the same, like, playing field. But ingesting, like, 29 of any franchise is going to get stale. Especially when they all have the same third act.
That's the thing, man. These movies are all the same. Like, they're not. There's key differences. Like, often the monster will have like a theme to the like guest monster will have a theme. But I mean, if Mothra shows up, you best believe he's going to turn into a maggot and spray Godzilla with spider webs.
A maggot.
All right, we'll get to that later.
All right,
let's talk about 98.
We're so messy with like if you would like try and timestamp like when we talk about each thing, it'd be insane. Anyway,
Can't be bothered doing that.
So Toho gave TriStar, who produced that adaptation, a 75-page dossier, a word I knew before today, of what they can and can't do with the character. So
Was this before or after 98?
Before this is like when they're making 98, they're like, here's 75 pages of things you can and can't do with the character, included rules like this. He cannot eat people, only fish. He has to have 3 rows of dorsal plates, no more or less than 3 toes on his feet and 4 fingers on his hands. He cannot be made to look silly, and he cannot die in the movie. So they ignored almost all of those. And the guy who this was given to like the producers and Roland Emmerich. And the guy who actually designed the character, who was Patrick Tortopoulos, which is Matthew Broderick's character's name, said that the only instruction he was given from Roland Emmerich was he should be able to run real fast. So Roland Emmerich was like, got this list of rules, how to respect Godzilla, and he's like, nah, what if he was real fast?
Because Godzilla or I should say Zilla and Godzilla 98... He looks like shockingly different to the classic character. Yeah. Like the classic character is very stocky, is very portly almost. And whereas this one looked like the T-Rex from Jurassic Park, but with a real big chin.
Yeah.
Like imagine the T-Rex from the Jurassic Park crossed with the alien from Aliens, but instead of having a big like protruding back of his head like the alien does, it's on his jaw. He's got a big jaw. Just look it up. Freaking heck. I'm not telling you what a character looks like.
It's like in this one he's a mutated iguanodon or something like that, and I should know that exactly, and I apologise.
Yeah, someone's going to be mad that you didn't get the law right for Godzilla 1998.
Well, no, just if it comes across as badly researched.
It is. Is that what you're saying?
It is. No, it's either.
I don't want to come across as badly researched, but I didn't research that.
Okay, no, I did. I've seen the word iguana. I just can't remember if it's had don at the end of it. All right.
Is an iguanodon a thing?
Look, dude, my job isn't to research if animals are real or not. It's to find interesting bits of trivia. Like, did you know that Roland Emmerich has admitted he's not a fan of the Godzilla series, and he only took the job because he got told he can do whatever he wanted with the film?
Sorry, I read an answer for the iguana thing.
Well, respond to my piece of trivia, and then you can tell us your fact.
Okay, so he's not a fan of the original Godzilla.
No.
Why do you want to make a remake then?
Why? I said that. Because he got told he can do whatever he wants with it.
But he wasn't told that.
Yeah, I know, but someone told him that. They were wrong.
Yeah, I mean... And we'll come to this probably next week when we do the 2014 movie.
Spoilers.
Godzilla's not a character that can't be done by American cinema, and I'm gonna get to this later for my continue the franchise.
Oh, okay. Are you now?
Yeah.
Cool.
Iguanodon is a dinosaur, and iguana is just a lizard. So iguanodons are extinct.
Okay.
But Godzilla's not real.
That still doesn't settle the argument.
No, you see iguanas at the start of Godzilla 98.
You see lots of things that started Godzilla 98, dude.
Name one other thing you see.
Matthew Broderick.
That's not at the start.
He's in the first 5 minutes.
No, not 5 minutes. Get out of town. I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to look it up.
The first 5 minutes. You're going to pull out the first 5 minutes.
Watch Godzilla 98 HD online. GoMovies.2. .2.
That's not a suffix.
/film/Godzilla.
Okay. Right. You threw something to me. I was going to look up if he's an iguana or an iguanodon.
No, I've already looked at that.
No, you looked up to see if iguanodons were real.
I'm skipping to the 5 minute mark to see if Matthew Broderick appears in the film. It's not looking out for the stream, eh?
Because the internet,
the internet is
in our studio
is not having it. All right, I'm going to go to another stream.
Okay, and we're just going to keep talking while I also find out the answer to my question.
No, look. Oh my gosh.
It's an iguana.
Yeah, I know. Freaking heck, dude. All right.
Have you found Matthew Broderick?
No, I can't load the stream.
Okay, pause the podcast. We're going to go to JB Hi-Fi we're going to get a Blu-ray of it, which is how we watched it anyway, because that's the legal way.
This isn't illegal to do this. To stream? Streaming illegal?
Yes.
But everyone does it.
If everyone smoked marijuana, would that make it legal?
I mean,
That's kind of what happened. For those listening in the future, marijuana was just made legal in New Zealand. Now they're not going to know what happened. So yeah, the American Godzilla didn't take off like they thought it would. There was supposed to be a whole trilogy, and Godzilla versus Destroyer, the last film of the Heisei period, they were supposed to be like, Godzilla dies, huge publicity, and then they're like, we're going to not make another film. Toho's not going to make another film until 1995. Sorry, 2005. And, yes, I screwed up. Sound off in the comments.
So they were going to make a trilogy of Roland Emmerich Godzilla films.
Yeah, so Toho was like, they made Godzilla vs. Destroyer, like, we'll kill our one, Americans, you have fun with it for a few years. And then 1998 came out, and they were like, this is awful. No one likes this. We need to bring back the real Godzilla. And so a year later, they released Godzilla 2000 in 1999. And then so the Millennium series ran until 2004, which is actually a year before like their planned hiatus was supposed to end.
That's true. They couldn't keep their hands off it, eh? So were there plans for sequels?
Yeah, there's a
plans?
Godzilla 2 script floating around.
Really?
Featuring Godzilla fighting Queen Bitch.
Who's that?
Some Queen Bitch.
What?
Yeah, that's the name of the monster in the sequel.
What?
There was also a...
Wait, no, what? Who's Queen Bitch?
It's a new one.
Oh, they made it up?
Yeah.
They made up a monster called Queen Bitch.
Yeah. There was also plans for an American film called Godzilla Reborn, which was going to be a canonical sequel to Godzilla 2000. Isn't that just so frustrating?
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, like it would have had like a man in a suit as Godzilla. Have we mentioned that we know this? So every Godzilla, every Japanese Godzilla so far is a man in a suit, whereas the 1998 one was all CG.
And Matthew Broderick does not appear within the first 5 minutes.
Yes, he does.
It might be like 5:10. He's not in the first 5 minutes is when they're on the boat, and Godzilla like kills all the soldiers on the boat.
What's the timestamp of Matthew Broderick's first appearance?
Dude, I'm looking at screenshots. It won't load video.
Oh, okay.
The scene at 5 minutes was them in the submarine.
Oh, cool.
Or the boat.
Cool.
It's a boat.
Yeah, actually, Matthew Broderick didn't appear for a wee while. I rescind my statement.
Too bad.
Well, what else is there to say about the 98 Godzilla? Do you know it was the highest grossing film based on an international property until it was beaten by Godzilla in 2014.
That's awesome.
However, due to inflation, 1998 actually did make more money.
So it still is holds the title. So what did you think of 98 Godzilla then? Now that we're like veteran experts on the rest of the series, like we're qualified to judge whether or not it was a good Godzilla movie.
Yeah, good God.
Good Godzilla movie.
Watching it at first, you and I were like, let's do this. We planned out our whole night. We were like, let's get pizza, let's like watch Godzilla.
And I got the worst freaking pizza.
Yeah, and I I didn't finish mine. I just like regretted
I nearly
getting
vomited
it.
mine.
Yeah. Anyway, overall it wasn't a good night.
Chester Bennington had just died that day as well, hadn't he?
Yeah, he would have, yeah.
So we're already tarnished.
The day was already filled with woe.
Yeah.
Marijuana wouldn't be legalized for another 3 days. And we watched this film and we were like, yeah, okay, we're millennials. We like our films the way we like them. But like...
Stop saying millennial.
AJ...
That's like... I hate that word.
So do
the
I.
more we use it.
No, but the thing is that I'm saying that it was nice to like watch a film with like American storytelling.
Yeah, of
because
course.
that's what we're used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry I don't watch that much Japanese cinema. I've seen some, and what I have seen of like well, it's actually like of Eastern cinema, I have enjoyed, but it is a whole different style of storytelling, and to go back and watch basically the same plot but with that American style of storytelling is interesting. And at first we were like, oh yeah, this is okay, and then things took a turn, and I remember there was about the halfway point we were like, this isn't a bad Godzilla film, this is just a bad film.
Yeah, it's very, I mean, it's Roland Emmerich, man. Like it's so vapid. The characters are like interestingly uninteresting.
Yeah.
Like you could write an essay on why Matthew Broderick's character is like a vapid shell of a character. Like he's like supposed to be smart. That's his characteristic.
Yeah, because he's real into earthworms.
Yeah.
And that qualifies him to like be the expert on Godzilla.
Yeah. And it feels very much like Roland Emmerich trying to capitalize on the success of Jurassic Park and its sequel, which had come out a year earlier.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's okay. So there's one good scene, and I'm gonna segue into continue the franchise after this. At least my one, because I'm not gonna do it twice, so you don't have to do yours next.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's one real good scene in Godzilla '98. So what's his name?
Jean Reno.
Jean Reno, who you might remember from like Leon the Professional.
Yeah.
He is a French secret agent or secret serviceman who's kind of working with a bunch of other French agents underground in New York, which Godzilla's destroying. They're kind of working against the American military to defeat Godzilla. So they're both trying to defeat Godzilla. They're just trying to do it their way. Anyway, Matthew Broderick's character gets kicked out of like the team that are trying to like.
Why did he get kicked out again?
He got kicked out because his love interest, stole his like top secret footage so that she could put it on the news because she was a journalist. And she was like, oh, this is a scoop, so she wanted to get the scoop early,
Yeah.
Anyway, so Matthew Broderick's kicked out. He's like, oh, I'm just going to leave New York. Then I've got no help. I've got no hope. And then as he's leaving, what's his name?
Jean Reno.
Jean Reno?
Yeah.
Jean Reno, who you may remember from Leon the Professional.
I might be saying that wrong, but...
he picks him up.
Jean Reno.
He picks him up and he's like, come with me. I like you. Because he basically, Matthew Broderick's character knows what Godzilla is and kind of how to defeat him. He's worked it out. He works out that Godzilla's reproducing asexually and has laid eggs and stuff like that.
Where's the fun in that? That's a line from the film.
And so they decide that they're going to try infiltrate the American military barricade to try and get back into the city. And the French guys in the car with Matthew Broderick start chewing gum, and he's like, well, what's with the gum? And Jean Reno is like, it makes us look more American. And he's like chewing gum, and Matthew Broderick's like, let me do all the talking. And so they go up to the barricade, and there's a soldier there who shines a torch in the car, and he's like, well, what are you doing here? And Matthew Broderick's like, oh, we're just part of the team, like trying to be real non-sus. And then he shines a torch at Jean Reno's character who's driving, but he hasn't said anything, and he goes, what's the matter with you mute? And like without missing a beat, Jean Reno's character goes, no sir, I'm fine. and he's like, oh, well, go right on through. And he's like, thank you very much. And then as they drive in, he looks at Matthew Broderick and he's like, I wish they lot of Elvis movies. And it's like, okay, that is what the whole movie should have been, not that scene. Like that voice should have been what that whole movie was. And this is my continue the franchise. I don't know if it counts, but whatever. We're 3 decades, not even decades. How many?
No, we're like 5 decades.
5 decades into a 31 film franchise. This is my continue the franchise, is to re-examine what went wrong with Godzilla 98. And what I would do with it is I would make it like the Brendan Fraser Mummy movie. Because if you've seen that movie, it's very fun. Like, above all else, it's fun and it's comedic. And, like, the characters are interesting and lovable and there's loads of jokes, and then it's ultimate action-adventure. And there's a couple of, like, stray characters in Godzilla 98 that, like, could be perceived as likable. Like, Hank Azaria's character is, like, he's a journalistic cameraman. So he's, he films it. He's got a New York accent, and he's all like,
it slips into Mo for like a split second. He's trying to get a tape inside his camera, and he's like, stinking piece of crap.
So there's these characters that were definitely had the intention of being likable, but they're not particularly. And that's my critique of the franchise: is forget about starting a universe, a cinematic universe, which we'll get to next week. Just make like a fun action adventure Godzilla film with like not really any strings attached to it, with interesting characters that honors the monster, but can put a fun 90s American spin on that.
So your contender is to replace the 98 with
I
something
guess
else.
so.
Okay.
I mean, you could make another one now if you want.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, make another reboot.
Yeah, we're 5 decades deep into this podcast, and I'm no longer a stickler for the rules. We'll finish up talking about 98 Godzilla. There's one sort of thing I found in my travels. There's the famous like font. We even got this film. It didn't get a sequel, but it had a spin-off animated series, which we didn't watch for the podcast.
I kind of want to, because what the hell would it be about?
Yeah.
How do you make a spin-off series out of Godzilla?
I real vaguely remember it. I watched the intro to see if it would kickstart any memories, and I was like, oh yeah.
I recognise the style.
Yeah, more than anything. So it's got this that like black text with like the green glow behind it.
It'll be on the cover art for this episode if you're able to look.
If you're looking, and the tagline for this film was "Size does matter." Mm-hmm. This film had like heaps of marketing on the side of buses. It would be like his foot is bigger than this bus, and like on billboards, it'd be like his face is bigger than this billboard or whatever.
And
that was the whole
director of Independence Day. Come on, 1997. The director of Independence Day is doing a Godzilla film? Hell yeah. I'd be excited.
But so the film came out, and Size Does Matter was like a kind of taking the piss out of it a little bit. DreamWorks released a film called Small Soldiers, which featured a bunch of toys like hog tying a lizard, and it said, "Size doesn't matter."
It's a very similar movie to Godzilla.
Yeah.
Toy Soldiers. That's like a kid's... That's like a Beethoven, Mrs. Doubtfire, Colgate Saturday Night feature movie.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Small Soldiers. Didn't have a sequel, though, so we'll never talk about it on this podcast, which is a shame.
Yep, that's us. If you
tuned in for biting commentary on Small Soldiers,
this is all you're getting. I haven't seen it.
Tommy Lee Jones. Can I tell you the best joke in
Sure.
Small Soldiers?
I actually feel like you've already told me this.
So the main character's a kid, a Jonathan Taylor Thomas type.
Of course.
And his name's Alan. Yeah. And so Alan gets these toy soldiers, and they're like they're called Gargonauts, I think. They're like, so there's the human soldiers are bad and the monster soldiers are the good guys. And the monster soldier starts talking to Alan, and he's like, for the first time, and Alan's not they're robotic, I guess. They're not magically alive. And he's like, "What is your name?" And he's like, "Alan." And he goes, "Alan." And he sees he's using Encarta, so he calls him like Alan, keeper of Encarta. And he's like, "I'm not the keeper of Encarta." He's like, "Well, what is your name?" And he's like, "Alan, now shut up." And then for the rest of the movie, they call him Alan, now shut up. It's so good. I love it. Anyway.
That's awesome.
Alan, now shut up. That's how he says it. That's awesome. He sounds like Optimus Prime. It's probably the same voice as Optimus Prime.
But yeah, so this Size Does Matter thing. When the film came out to poor reception, Star Wars... The official Star Wars website were like, "Size does matter." Well, take a look at this. They uploaded a photo to the official like Star Wars website, whatever it was, with the same black text with glowing green behind it, and I can actually show you this to prove it's real, AJ. Saying, "Plot does matter." Episode 1 in cinemas next year.
Why are they being so mean? That's so strange.
So it says plot does matter, May 1999. Ironic.
Yeah.
That episode 1 would be
a worse movie than Godzilla 1998.
And would be like, teasing other films about, hey, plot does matter. Isn't that weird?
The plot of Godzilla 98 is not like the bad thing about it, I wouldn't say. That's a strange nitpick. It's just mean of a movie studio to do. You wouldn't get that now.
Yeah. You get like poking little bits of fun and
you get like the SpongeBob movie doing a 50 Shades of Grey poster and stuff like that. But like that's especially cruel for like how many people would have worked on both films? Like I don't know how big Hollywood is actually. Maybe they weren't.
They're probably not anyone. Matthew Broderick's in both, isn't he?
No.
Isn't he Jar Jar?
No.
Oh. Oh, he's Simba. Okay.
Okay, no, let's do this. Let's play Connect Godzilla to Star Wars. Godzilla 98 to Star Wars.
Jean Reno was in Leon the Professional with Natalie Portman. He's in episode 1.
There you go. Natalie Portman would have been furious.
That was impressive. Because when did Leon come out?
Oh, come on, man. I'll look it up.
Dude, don't do this to me. I would have been like, I think it was like 1990.
I open up Google Chrome and
93.
Godzilla 98 is 20 minutes through.
Alrighty.
Leon the Professional came out in 94.
94, yeah, so they might have kept in touch. Okay, so I guess that's all I have to say about 98.
Shall we do a brief aside and read out some comments that people are saying to us? So last week, if you'd been listening but don't like follow what happens on our YouTube comments, because and if you're not, you are missing out. We called out one of our fans, whose name is David Brown, and we asked David Brown to tell us how old he was for some reason. I don't know why, because we thought it'd be funny if he was like a little kid who like discovered this podcast and then was immediately turned off it by the host being mean to him.
Like bullying him.
But he replied, this is what he said. Ha ha ha, great video guys. I am also 24 years old, and I'm surprised as you are to find out that Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2 came out the same year I was born. Also, I got a few requests for you to cover. Then he listed a bunch of films, film franchises that he wants us to cover. Clearly not familiar with the format of our podcast, where 90% of our choices are randomly selected.
To be fair, though, there was a couple in there that we didn't have on the list, and we've added them.
That's true. But one of the ones he listed was, or two of them, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. And I kindly said, glad we didn't scare you off, Dave. And I was like, great news. We've actually done Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. Sent him a link. However, upon re-listening to last week's episode, we explicitly talked about the Freddy vs. Jason episode that we did like tens of times. We're like drawing back to it.
Yeah.
So, David, are you listening? This brings me to my next question for you, David Brown. Where are you from? How old are you and where are you from?
So, like, just any illusion people have of thinking we're popular is just shattered.
We also got another comment from a guy who I think his name's Big Top. The letters in his surname are not English letters, so I'm not going to try read them. He says, "Hi from Ukraine. Found your podcast recently and really like it. Keep it up." Thanks, Big Top. I hope I'm saying your name right. And Brent Taylor, who's another new listener, he said, "Why are there only 100 ages?"
Yeah, okay. I do want to correct myself. Take that back. I forgot that you can be 0 years old, so there are 101 ages.
Of course.
Thank you.
Well, he'll be happy with that because I replied to that and said, tune in next episode to find out.
Because I mean, like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah.
Yeah, you're either 0 or you're 100.
We also got a comment
in between.
We also got a comment this week from Johnny Justice on one of our old popcorn videos, which are a minute long video essays, and he commented on our episode called Khan vs. Blofeld, which is one that Richard actually wrote and recorded, about how Khan and Blofeld were introduced in their respective Star Trek and James Bond franchises franchise reboots. And he said, exactly, only easily pleased idiots disliked your video. Thank you very much, Johnny Justice. And the last comment that I want to draw attention to today is Ramir Lunardi commented on Beethoven. And he said, so he's talking about Beethoven, not Godzilla here. He said, the first 2 or 3 used to be on TV a lot. I wonder where where they get the money to make those films. Why don't they do something else? Something better? Like, I felt it, the way he wrote it. It's a good question, Ramir, and I replied to it and I said, well, better than 31 Godzilla movies, I'd take 8 Beethoven movies. And he said, 31? Sure, but the best 2 or 3 Godzilla movies are better than 2 or 3 of the best Beethoven movies. Clearly you haven't seen Beethoven's Big Score, Ramir. That's all I have to say.
Big break.
Big break. Yeah. Shit. Bender's big score. Beethoven's big break. And that's our comments for this week.
Well, thank you. I await the day when we'll have too many comments that we can't read out the entire.
It'll be next week, dude. Please, everyone who I've just, if you're listening to this one, leave a comment. Tell us what something
David
was.
Brown did the right thing and commented his age.
Yeah.
Please just continue to comment your age, everyone. David, post it again.
Yeah. David, listen to me. I need you to do something for me. wherever you're from, we don't know you. You're going to tell us next week. Because we know we've got fans in Ukraine. Brent, I believe, has told us he's from Texas before.
Yeah. Let's see if we can get someone from all 100 countries.
Here's what I want you guys to do, listeners. I want you to tell one person about this podcast. I want you to tell one friend about this podcast if you haven't already. Get them to listen. Get them to comment. Tell them. Say, Brent sent me.
Say, Brent sent me. He's however old he is.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on.
Yeah. So... After that, let's pull the podcast out of that pit. And so, what's your favorite? Now that we've kind of seen the eras, what's your favorite?
Well, this is lame, but obviously, like Gojira's like just a cut above the rest.
Right.
Like the original Gojira film is like this beautifully tragic, like remorseful, really sad film, and that moved me watching that one.
Yeah.
None of the other ones have moved me in terms of like what one did I like get the most out of in terms of enjoyment. I would still probably say from last week I said that Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, the time traveling one. I really liked that one. From the Millennium series, I don't know if I've already said this, haven't I?
GNK,
yeah. I would say the best era was Heisei though.
Yeah, that was my question.
Yeah.
Heisei is my favorite era as well. It's kind of a good mix between all of them. Yeah. Like, it's not too serious, but it's not too silly.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, by the end of Showa, it gets pretty silly, and then by the end of Millennium, it gets real silly. Millennium, like, the end of the Millennium series is so weird. So, up until the 2014 Godzilla film came out, and this podcast, obviously, I had only ever seen a 2-minute clip of a Godzilla film, and that was Godzilla beating Zilla into the Sydney Opera House. Don't ask. In Final Wars. And it has Sum 41 playing in the background. Zilla gets like beamed down from a spaceship, and then a guy in a leather trench coat gets real angry that he's defeated. That was my like impression of like at least the Millennium series is like, okay, cool. They're all like real weird and feature like rock music and stuff like that. And so the Millennium series started, and I was like, we're 6 films away from that scene. I have no idea how the hell we're going to get there. Like, is it gradual? What happens? And then we were like 1 film away from it, and I was like, they haven't done anything to get towards this. And then
to get towards that level of like absurdity.
Yeah.
What you're saying. And
then we reached it. The next film was just balls to the wall insane.
Yeah, and I to be honest, I don't think they earned Sum 41 in that movie. I don't know if it came out, if it worked.
Yeah, so Sum 41, like, not only did they have their actual song in there, but they actually composed the music for the
They're
film.
in the credits. They're in the credits.
Yeah, it's the first Godzilla film to like feature most of the composition done by a Western artist.
Yeah. Can I talk about something that pisses me off about Godzilla?
If it's about Godzilla.
About the franchise.
There's too many of them.
Got those old root beer burpees.
The old rooties.
Okay, so there's a character. I'm going to start from scratch in case you're a visual person and you haven't been following. There's a kaiju, probably the second most famous kaiju next to Godzilla, named Mothra. Okay? Mothra, most of the time, probably not even most of the time actually, like if you Google the word Mothra, you'll get a picture of a giant moth. Like, it's this gorgeous, beautiful moth. There's a lot of spirituality to Mothra. She feels very, very much like a magic character, and she's almost always depicted as a hero as well, not a villain. She's like, depicted as a protector of the world. In more of Mothra's appearances than not, she'll die or she gets defeated, and she'll have an egg around, and that egg will hatch, and these 2 larvae come out. Okay, we talked about them before. These 2 larvae that are still called Mothra. Sometimes there's only 1 larva, but sometimes there's 2. And every time they turn up, they spray Godzilla with a bunch of silk, which inexplicably defeats him.
This has happened at least 3 times.
And like, because it happened in one of the Millennium ones. What was it? One after again, Tokyo SOS.
Yeah,
happened in Tokyo SOS, and I was like, "Are you serious?
How is this still a thing?
This is happening again?" Because you got to understand, the Mothra Mothra transitions to the grubs. It's not like the grubs turn up and you're like, oh, I can't wait for them to turn into Mothra. Like, Mothra's and more of the films that Mothra's in than not, Mothra turns up, is defeated, is replaced by the 2 most uninteresting looking monsters. Like, they look like a couple poops with buttholes for mouths. Who likes the grubs? Like, who's clamoring? Who starts a Godzilla movie? Mothra's in it. You're like, dope. Mothra's in it. Mothra's going, I can't wait for Mothra to turn into the grubs. Like, who is thinking that? Because
it's so annoying as well. Because the spraying him with silk inexplicably takes like 4 minutes.
Oh, it happened in the first Godzilla vs. Mothra, and I was like, why? This is ruining the movie.
Yeah.
And then it keeps happening, and it's like,
it's not ideal.
It's why are they? If I want to know, if David, like, what do you like the grubs? Why are the grubs like considered like a tentpole of a Mothra featured movie?
Yeah, should we put a post on the Godzilla subreddit?
Yeah,
and come back next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about next week. Be like, I do a podcast with my friend. We're from New Zealand, and
here's the links. David sent me.
Like, yeah, I am so baffled. Like Digimon.
Yes.
You know how like the first Digimon are like little marshmallows.
Yeah.
And then they turn into like the cool one.
Agumon.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He turns into like a little dragon lizard thing.
Greymon.
Yeah. Greymon is like clearly cooler than Agumon, right?
Oh, no, okay, they're different kind of cools. Greymon's definitely cooler than Patamon, who's the little marshmallow. And then Skull Greymon's cooler than all of them.
So what I'm saying
there's also like Mega Greymon.
Like a lot of things in life, Digimon did it right. And they went from like the lamer, like defenseless character to like a capable character.
Yeah, but even in Digimon, each character has its own purpose. So like when Agumon,
I'm going to look up Agumon because I'm remembering him as a little marshmallow.
No, yeah. So Agumon is like a red, an orange little dinosaur thing, but then
no, that's who I'm talking about.
What?
Who's the one before Agumon?
I want to say Patamon, but I feel like that could be a different one. I feel like that might be. You're testing my Digimon knowledge, dude.
Agumon is a reptile Digimon.
I think that we can all agree that Venom Myotismon.
Prior forms, Koromon.
Yeah, Koromon.
Koromon's a little ball with bunny ears.
Yeah. Like Venom Myotismon is dope though. Because not only is like Myotismon cool, like the fact because every like Digimon evolution is just like a lot of them are just like Mega something or like Anja something. But then his is Venom. Isn't that dope? Venom Myotismon.
Do you know that? Who was the one I was just talking about?
Agumon.
No, the one up before.
Koromon.
Huh?
Koromon.
Koromon has a prior form as well, called Bottomon, who looks like the little main character from the game Limbo, but just his head. So he's a little black head with 2 yellow eyes, which looks real cool. Actually.
Yeah, I think I've seen that.
But
actually.
So that turns into a little marshmallow thing.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting at, it would be like having Mothra be replaced by 2 grubs would be like
having Skull Greymon.
If Agumon turned into Koromon. Okay? They did it right because I remember Koromon being in like the first episode and then digivolves into Agumon Agumon.
I'm not 100% sure that's exactly how it plays out. But.
And then he's Agumon for like the most of the first season, and then at the end he goes back to Koromon. But it's like it's a big thing that's happening. Yeah. Like my point is, the grubs are dumb, and why are they there?
Yeah,
like
the fact that they're the final form.
Yeah,
as well.
They're boring, and it's not progressing your action upwards.
When
like
they first appeared as well in Mothra vs. Godzilla, which was the 4th film of the Showa series, they're then just the lava in it for like another 3 films, and Mothra's not.
Yeah.
Like, because I knew Mothra was beloved, but why? Mothra is cool, but the grubs aren't. I feel like there's going to be people that are listening to this. I'm not going to name names.
The grubs are the best part.
It's just the fact that we're calling them grubs.
Yeah, they're probably caterpillars, maybe.
The larva.
Well, whatever. That's what a grub is, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's like.
Yeah, but it's the G word.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just because the thing is that thing doesn't mean it's the best word.
It's like calling Hermione Granger a mudblood.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, well, she's a filthy mudblood. Why wouldn't you call her that?
So, might continue the franchise. I should have written it down because I can't. No, I did come up with one.
Okay.
So,
good.
Because I said this to you during the week, I was like, the cool thing about the Millennium series is they're all just their own continuity or follow the 1954 one. So we can pitch like sequels to the 1954 one, and if you're just like, it copies the first one, but it's in its own continuity.
The Millennium style for a lot of it is to be a sequel to the 1954 Godzilla.
So, I was thinking it'd be cool to do, and feel free to jump on this again. So some people like travel back in time to like stop the 1954 attack, and then something would happen. So maybe Godzilla touches their spaceship and he gets brought back with them,
right?
Or like their like time machine gets stopped, they gets crushed by Godzilla and they're stuck in 1954. So it's like Back to the Future, but they're also Godzilla's attacking Japan. And it's called Godzilla to the Future.
Marty McFly, imagine Marty McFly got stuck in like some like tumultuous time period.
Imagine Marty McFly got stuck in 1954 Japan. If he'd gone back a year earlier, he'd be screwed. The only thing that can generate that much energy is a giant dinosaur.
Oh yeah. Okay. So like they bring Godzilla to now?
Nah, actually I like the idea of, I mean, maybe they can be the third act or whatever, but I like the idea of being stuck in 1954.
It's a very lost world to bring Godzilla back to the main city, I guess. But he's already in the city. It's not like he's not part of the city.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like 40 years earlier, so it had the idea first.
Yeah.
But yeah, so go back in time and then it's a family comedy, but also Godzilla is destroying Japan.
Okay, I like it. Let's
Thank
make
you.
it. It's next on the list after Polgason.
So I'm real tired.
Yeah.
I've got to go to work in like 6 hours.
And you're hosting Soda Popture tomorrow.
Yeah,
which you can watch.
I'm going to need a nap. Keep an eye out for that. Yesterday. If you want to watch it live, too bad you missed it.
Yeah. Well, I think I've said all I want to say about the Millennium series.
Yeah, I'm just worried we haven't read enough comments.
Okay, I'll look for some more.
What if? What do you? So, God, we've only got 2 films left, and we've got a weekend coming up. Except I'm working on the weekend, but 2 films left. We're so close. And like one I've already seen. That's a wrap.
We can say we've seen every Godzilla film.
Yeah.
Except for the American dubs of the American remakes.
And we haven't seen Gamera.
And we haven't seen any of the other Toho Monster Universe movies.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Shin Godzilla.
Yeah, I was. I couldn't give a shit now.
And I mean, 2014 Godzilla, I saw when it came out. It'll be interesting to see it with a fresh pair of eyes now that I've got my new eyes.
You do have new eyes.
Thank you. AJ, I've been waiting 31 episodes for you to mention my new eyes. And you finally have. This is episode 31 of the film franchise Fortnights, which coincidentally is also the amount of films in the Godzilla franchise as of yet.
And I think
there's in a couple of months there's a 32nd one coming out, so maybe we'll do an Amadeus for that.
this is the 48th episode of the Cult Pop podcast in general. Found that out today when I looked at one track out of 48.
When I indulged myself in my own content.
Okay. Yeah.
We could have ended on a high note, but
that's fine.
We're doing this.
What can people do if they liked this? If this is the first one they've listened to. If they want
All right, 3
check us out
things.
more?
1, leave a comment. 2, include your age. 3, include where you're from.
Yep.
4, if you have the ability to, leave a timed comment on SoundCloud. Because I want one.
We've had a few.
No, we haven't.
Not on Godzilla episodes.
It's spam.
If you like this though, you can listen to past episodes. You can also find us on YouTube if you're not there already. So please subscribe. You can also find us on Facebook under Cult Pop Show. Please like that. That's a more Facebook is a more like direct way to contact us than YouTube comments. So if you want to do that, that's cool. We do a weekly live stream called Soda Pop Show, which you can check out every Thursday night, 8 p.m. New Zealand time. Yeah, thank you very much for listening to this episode. I pray you have a great day.
Or a great night.
Or a great morning.
Yeah.
Well,
we had a great morning.
Yeah.
Mourning the loss of Chester Pennington.
Okay, goodbye.